A 10-year-old boy and his father were arrested after the boy fatally shot another boy his age using a stolen gun. At just after 4:30 p.m. on Saturday the 30th of December, authorities responded to a call of a shooting in the 4700 block of Greenhome Drive in Sacramento, California. Initial reports from witnesses stated that the victim was 13 to 14 years old and that he had been shot. When deputies arrived, they located an unresponsive juvenile in the middle of the parking lot bleeding from his head and neck. Deputies immediately began life-saving measures on the victim until Sacramento Metro Fire Department personnel arrived on scene. The victim was transported to a local hospital where he was later pronounced dead. It was later confirmed that the victim was identified as Keith Frierson, who was only 10 years old. Witnesses told deputies that the suspect ran into a nearby apartment, so officials went to the residence and detained 53-year-old R. Keith Davis and 2 juveniles. Homicide detectives and crime scene investigators responded to the scene, interviewed witnesses and gathered evidence. Based on their investigation, they learnt that one of the juveniles detained, a 10-year-old boy, went to his father's vehicle to get him cigarettes. He then took a gun from inside the vehicle and bragged that his father had a gun. He then shot the victim once and ran into a nearby apartment. Detectives located a firearm in a nearby trash can, where Keith the boy's father is believed to have tried to dispose of it. Detectives confirmed that R. Keith was prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm. The recovered firearm was also reported stolen in 2017. The juvenile suspect was arrested and transported to the Sacramento County Youth Detention Facility, where he is charged with murder. R. Keith was arrested and transported to the Sacramento County Main Jail, where he was charged with several felony firearm charges, child endangerment, and accessory after the fact. R. Keith's been held on a $500,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court on the 3rd of January. Keith's mother, Brittany Frierson, said that her son and the suspect were playing outside on their bikes when the shooting occurred. She said that the suspect lost a bike race and then shot her son. She added that her son considered the shooter a friend. The investigation into the matter continues. 44-year-old Kenneth Brown is behind bars for fatally shooting his ex-girlfriend, 34-year-old Maria Roque, in front of her 2 children. The shooting occurred at 6:23 a.m. on Wednesday the 13th of December, in front of Maria's home in the 500 block of North Long Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. Maria was putting her 8-year-old daughter into a rental car when Kenneth approached her. As Maria tried to get away, Kenneth shot her multiple times in the shoulder, chest and thumb before fleeing the scene. Maria struggled to breathe and became unresponsive. Her 14-year-old son attempted CPR on her and she was taken to the Stroger Hospital, where she was pronounced dead at 6:53 a.m. Maria had been granted an emergency order of protection against Kenneth on the 7th of November. A week before that, the pair had an argument that turned physical when Kenneth grabbed Maria and threw her to the ground. Kenneth also threatened to burn Maria's car, break her windows and destroy her belongings. The order of protection barred Kenneth from contacting Maria in any way, including entering her home or harassing, stalking or intimidating her. He was also prohibited from taking their 8-year-old daughter from her care. That order of protection was extended on the 28th of November, and once again on the 13th of December, the morning of the shooting. On Friday the 29th of December, members of the Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force located Kenneth in the 3100 block of West Harrison Street, and he was arrested. Kenneth's charged with first-degree murder and is held at the Cook County Jail without bond. Maria's children are staying with family. The investigation into the matter continues. A man fatally shot his friend after he had too much to drink. On the night of Saturday the 30th of December, 22-year-old Abraham Bordus was at 26-year-old Chase Copey's home along Southwest 146th Avenue in Ocala, Florida. Abraham had been invited there to drink and help paint the house when he found Chase's gun in a chair. Abraham picked it up, pointed it at Chase and said, "Wow, buddy, this is a nice gun." He then pulled the trigger and fatally shot Chase in the stomach. Abraham told deputies that he did not intentionally shoot Chase, who was one of his best friends. He also said he was unaware that the gun was loaded and the safety was off. He admitted to being intoxicated at the time of the shooting. He said he did not know he fired the weapon until he heard his friend say, "Buddy, you shot me." A woman who was at the home at the time of the shooting told detectives that Abraham and Chase had been drinking by the time she arrived to help paint. The woman said they painted one room and took a break. She said she was in the kitchen washing dishes when she heard the men talking, laughing and listening to music. She said she saw Abraham holding a gun and looking at the gun from the side. He was moving it around and it appeared the firearm was pointed at Chase. She said that she then saw Abraham squeeze the trigger. She said that Chase stumbled from the couch and told Abraham that he had been shot and to call 911. She said she tried to stop the bleeding with paper towels and he later lost consciousness. Walking outside, she heard sirens and first responders running toward the residence. Medics transported Chase to a local hospital where he later died. Inside the residence, a detective found a loaded gun on a counter. The detective also recovered a shell casing and a loaded magazine. Abraham was arrested and charged with negligent homicide. He was booked into the Marin County Jail that night, but was released in the morning after posting a $30,000 bond. The investigation into the matter continues.